along those lines. I think the organization of the document is also deficient in that, for example, it has historical information in there, which is not really relevant to someone using the charter. I think that kind of information should be in a separate document where all of the historical information is gathered so that people that are reviewing or using the charter can go back and understand what perhaps the intent was. And I think another area of problem is that just given a certain goal for the charter, the way it's described is deficient. Sometimes there's sentences that don't make sense. There's things that are just clear. There's ambiguity, irrespective of what the intent was. And then, of course, there's the more fundamental problems with the charter that have to do with how it has organized our government, the relationships between, say, the Board of Selectmen and the town administrator, and these issues of what is day-to-day business, that kind of a thing. So there's a broad range of things for the Charter Review Committee to work on.
Okay. Selectman Cronin.
Well, it sounds to me like you answered it, but I was just going to ask you, you think this charter is outdated?
Well, I suppose it depends on what you mean by outdated. If my driver's license is outdated, then I would have it renewed. If my prescription is outdated, I might throw it away, or I might get a completely new prescription. But I would say that based on this reference to 43B, Section 10, I think that the Charter Review Committee is going to be very limited in the scope of what they're going to do to change the charter, because that particular law prevents it from proposing any changes to, for example, in any way that the composition or the terms of office of the Board of Selectmen, the legislature, which would be the town meeting, and the town administrator. So what this means is that the people that are hoping that the Charter Review Committee can change our form of government in a major way can't be done in that form. I mean, they could do it in the sense that they could review it, and they could violate their oath by not following the prescriptions of the law, but let's follow that through. If they went ahead and they did that, and they made proposals, they would have to propose, someone would have to make the proposal at the town meeting. Anyone who has taken an oath could not, and continue to follow their oath, could not make that proposal. The Board of Selectmen couldn't accept a proposal like that. But even if they did, it would require a two-thirds vote by the town to go ahead and pass that. And then if it passed that, it would require that the town also ignore that prescription of general law in trying to make that change. And then even if that passed, the Attorney General would have to approve it. And even if the Attorney General approved it, a citizen group of 10 petitioners could ask the Superior Court to prevent that from being advanced. So I think that the scope of the Charter Review Committee is very limited, but it has a lot to do, and there's a lot of work to be done to try to make it better. But I think the people that are hoping that it will make major changes are going to be disappointed. Now, there is a way, of course, that can be done. That would be done by a Charter Review Commission, which is 9 elected officials from our town.
Okay. Well, then I guess what I would ask in that context is, with the committee looking at the charter review and what's in the best interest for the town, I had alluded to this at previous interviews. Don't you think that you can't always be worried about the end result, in other words, the 10 taxpayers or whatever, but that you should do primarily what's in the best interest of the town? I mean, there will always be those things that I suppose you should keep in the back of your mind, but I think ultimately you have to question, are you willing to explore everything as opposed to feeling inhibited to the end result?
I don't have an end result. I mean, I
Right.
think the end result is, as you suggest. I mean, you want to try to make a system which is good for the town, which makes it function well, which gets the things done that we all want done, that improves communication and decreases the amount of conflict that exists, that kind of thing. Sure.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we have next Alan Slavin. Is he here? He is. If you could introduce yourself, please.
Alan Slavin, 36 Oak Street.
Okay. Selectman Ekstrom.
I have no questions, thank you.
All right. Thank you for applying for the position. What made you apply for the position?
Over the last 3 years, town meeting is kind of, instead of improving, has kind of gone the wrong way. I don't expect a happy, everybody agree type of thing, but it's become very aggressive in tone. And town government, with a town meeting, is probably the purest form of government, and it's really nice to find a way to preserve that particular system. But the problem we have is either we have apathy or lack of interest, and we don't have a really substantial core of the residents of the town of Wareham coming to the meeting and voting. We have people who vote in the selectmen who have one opinion, and we have private interest groups that come when this particular thing's important to show up at the meetings. But the end result is we don't have really a overall theme that's the same. We're really at divergent ends. So the real reason for this is to find some way to put a system together where people actually will come and participate in their town government, which unfortunately is not happening.
Okay. Selectman Savageau.
Well, despite what you just heard, a charter review committee can discuss and forward to town meeting virtually any concept, any idea, any change, and the oath does not preclude that. In fact, the oath calls for the person to act in the best interest of the community with an open mind, and I hope that's what we will hear from people applying, that they will consider all points of view and keep an open mind, because, quite frankly, the Charter Review Committee has not a limited scope, but a very serious objective and responsibility to this community, and it's probably one of the most important appointments this board would ever make. So based on what I just said,